Okay, I want to document a couple of trades that so that I don't forget. Okay, so this is here's one that I took. Here's here's the one I took. Now I have these lines. Essentially, these are breakout lines, and so I essentially took a trade AU here. So I took this trade, which is let's see, at about 524. 524.54. Right here. I took this trade right around here. Okay, I took this trade right here. Right there at the breakout right there. So that will be 524.50. Yeah, right there. So I entered here. I entered right here. Okay, somewhere here, right there. I entered into right there, 524.54. Right there. I entered right here. Okay, and then I sold at 526.14. I sold right here. I sold right there. So essentially, I sold right there. Okay. Of course, I could have held that. I could have held that for a little bit longer. Could have held it for a little bit longer. Okay, so that right there is where I sold right there. Okay, so that's the first trade. Now, this is a breakout trade, and fortunately it worked out. But I could have held it for a little bit longer with a substantial amount of gain. So I wanna document. This is the first. So this would be considered setup number 3. Okay, this is setup number 3, the breakout trade. This is a breakout trade. It crossed over. So this seems like a break and retest kind of thing right there, but I got in right around here and sold right there. Okay, that's the first one. That will be this will be the third one, the breakout trade. Then then this one I didn't trade because it was in a downtrend. Okay, and then here I took a trade multiple times, but this one is more memorable right there. So essentially, what I did was I took a trade right here. Okay. Actually, I got out right here. I got out right there. All right. I got out right there, and I got in at about right here. Okay. I got in right around here, right there. Okay. So I got in right here, and I sold right there, but I should not have sold it. Okay. I had 3 lots in here. I piled in here 3 lots. Okay. I think it was here. I think I got in right around here. And it started to drop, but I allowed the support to take effect, and I had the stop loss here. I had a stop loss. So if I look here, so that would be it. See, I did have stop loss on these, right? So these, but I sold too early. So I got out here, but if I looked here, this would have been, at this point, it would have been about a $300 gain because I had 3 lots. See, 1, 2, 3 lots right there. That would have been 3 lots right there. So this is another good trade, but this is setup number 2. Okay, this is not a strong support. This is a soft support, and I had 3 lots in there. I scaled in, and then that right there it popped up right there. So that would have been a total additional 300 if I didn't sell. I didn't close out here. Okay. Now here's another one. This is a fan. I mean, this is one of the most interesting one that I did, and it was incredibly dangerous. Okay, it was very, very dangerous. And the reason is because I scaled in 8 lots. I had essentially 8 lots, and I piled in right here. Okay, I piled in right here. Okay, I started to pile in right there. And then as soon as it got over here, I sold. As soon as it got right there, I sold. Okay, so I had to withstand. So I had to withstand this drawdown before I sold up there, but it started to pile up and I got on. So if I look here, that would be a UJ right here. You see UJ right there. Okay. Now that's not much, right? The last one I sold for a loss, right? UJ. And I sold right here, okay? As I was piling in and I got out here, so I actually lost the first buy that I had. I had 8 lots and it was moving against me and I was about to be breached, but I survived it and then started to make gain. I was so glad that I cleared everything out. But uh, But if I look at here, okay, if I look at here, if I look at this, if I look at this, it ended up going all the way up there. So if I do a order, if I do an order here, okay. So let's say that I didn't get out, okay. Let's say I didn't get out. Okay, pending, take profit. It's going to be a buy, and so let's say I buy it here, okay? And then I sold up here, approximately 8 lots, right? If you look here, that would have been $2,800 right there. It says calculation between is 2,800 with 8 lots. I had survived. All I had to do was hold it, but I couldn't. And because the lower is actually higher, so that I would not be in any danger either. Or maybe I could have just sold one here and then kept it going like that. I never imagined it. So this right there would be $800 right there. That's 800. That's another 800. That's another 800. So that's about $22,400 right there, all the way up there. So that's the trade that I took. So this is again another something called a soft support. Somewhere between soft support. Yeah, it is soft support. So that's what right there. So I took one more trade. Now I waited until for this one. For this one, I waited until it broke out. Okay, it broke out. So I didn't make. I don't think I made much here. So that would be UC right there. So I made about $9. But if I had held, so if I look here, that would be that'll be at 947.29. So 947.29 would be right here. Yeah, I would have gotten in on this candle right there on a breakout, right? Right there, breakout. So I would have gotten in right here, okay? And then I got out at 955.26. So 955.26 right there. So I got out right approximately approximately right here. 955, 950, 955.26. Yeah, right there. So I would have gotten on right here with a minimal amount of gain. I thought it was going to go a little bit higher, but I did sell it. So that's the trade that these are the trades that I made here. However, during the day, the reason I'm in negative territory is because when I first got in, I didn't see much the way that I wanted to see it, and so I was like confused. And so here I was confused here, and so I got caught in this area, and so I lost. But now, when I look at this, I'm seeing that when I wait for my trade, okay, so these are the trades that I took, and yeah, these are the trades that I took. Is that cool or what? So I'm making the right trades now, and I'm accelerating the size. I'm increasing the size as well as holding longer now. I'm working on those two things. I've fine-tuned my entry point. I've selected my exit, okay, stop losses. Now I have the size in. Now I'm trying to hold it as long as possible because I see the potential of how I can hold longer here. Especially this one. This one would have essentially, even though I'm down 5%, almost okay, 4% here, almost 5%, 4%. I'm down 4%. That this essentially would have been almost about $3,000, which means that would be I would need about $1,300 to pass, right? This would have been $1,200 to pass, but that would have been 3,000. A single trade would have allowed it, but this would have been very, very dangerous, right there. If it dipped a little bit, this count would have been blown. But this had 8 lots, and so I traded this gold to some degree of success. I traded EG with a certain degree of success. It could have been far better if I held it. Okay, I need to be comfortable with the fact that there's going to be pullbacks. Okay, when I'm trading, because every time I see this, I don't see these, and so I'm thinking, well, it's going to keep going down. Okay, I have to be comfortable with the fact that there's going to be some pullbacks, and they move like this. It doesn't move like this all the time. It moves in this manner. And this, whoa, boy, I mean, wow. So I need to be aware that it goes up. And as soon as it goes up, even if it pulls back, there is a high degree of possibility that it's going to keep going up because it did reach a higher high. And so the lower may be lower than this high, but it's not lower than low. So here it took a double uh, down here, mini trend, and then started to go back up. Okay, this would have been this now it's a game changer. So I'm incorporating the setups that I'm waiting for. Okay, that's one. The second part is I'm using size now, and then I'm working to hold on to my trades. Okay, those are the 3 things, and now I have incorporated also the stop loss. So these now I have now well-rounded situation that is configured that allows me to trade well. Okay, so see, I can't trade this because I'm trying to go long. Okay, I'm trying to go long, so I can't trade this, but it's down. So in order for me to go long here, this has to be above this point, right? This has to be above point, and it's got to show some breakout possibilities. Otherwise, I'll still consider that as in a downtrend, and so the trade is unlikely. Now, there is a possibility. This parabolic type of movement is great to trade as long as it's somewhere in between the support and resistance area, which somewhere between here. And so the likelihood of That's a breakout from this resistance area. Okay, broke through. Now it's support. Now it's going to bounce up based on what this candle does. If it holds and starts to paint and moving up, then there's a possibility that it's going to keep moving up. Now EG has been in serious depression here. See that? It has this. So this essentially is that soft support. So anytime the price moves around in this area, the possibility of this, even though it reaches here, it's going to be supported. Of course, stop loss is going to stop it. But if it reaches here, it's a prime location to get in and ride it up. Especially the way it started out here, it is indicating that it's going to go back up. Okay. Now this one, wow, what a doozy. What a doozy. This has been an uptrend for quite a while. Quite a while here, moving up. And then, so I use that as a reference point to steer towards trending up, right? So right there. And UC is the same way as well. I mean, recently it's been trending up. Okay. So I took this trade, but it didn't yield very much. All right. So essentially I practiced the number 2 and number 3 setups, the soft support and also the breakout.